Welcome to the Technical Writing Success Podcast, where we help you get smarter than your competition. This is episode 153. I'm Fred.
And I'm Daphne. It's great to be here.
Great to have you. Today, we are really digging into something foundational happening in AI. It's this massive data center infrastructure race.
Huge.
We've got these two titans, Anthropic, the Claude people, and OpenAI with ChatGPT making these enormous spending announcements. Commitments so big, they kind of change the game for how we think about scale.
Yeah, the numbers we're seeing are, well, they're not typical corporate investments. This build-out is. It's just unprecedented, really.
Exactly. So today we want to unpack Anthropic's, let's say, calculated $50 billion plan versus OpenAI's almost mind-boggling $1.4 trillion commitment.
Right.
And crucially, we need to figure out why this spending is hitting now and what it really means for you if you're a technical writer or an IT pro getting ready for what people are calling the 2026 AI. So let's start with Anthropic. They announced, $50 billion for building these next-gen AI data centers, specifically in the U.S.?
That's right. And while $50 billion sounds small next to the other number we mentioned,
Yeah, relatively speaking.
it's still a massive, very targeted investment. They're looking at initial sites in places like Texas and New York.
And targeting 2026 to have them operational?
Exactly, 2026. And, it brings jobs, about 800 permanent ones, plus construction. But the tech side is what's really interesting for us.
And it sounds like they're not just renting space. They're partnering with Fluidstack. They provide GPU clusters to Meta, Midjourney. Some big names.
Yeah, and that partnership is, I think, the key technical detail here. This isn't just throwing money around. It's about building infrastructure that's optimized for Claude's large language models.
Optimized how, specifically?
Well, think state-of-the-art cloud compute, really dense GPU clusters. It's all designed for super fast inference, how quickly Claude gives you an answer.
Speed matters.
Speed matters, but also, and this is critical, fine-tuning on the fly. Imagine a company feeding Claude its own private data. This setup means the model integrates that knowledge almost immediately. No big downtime, no costly retraining cycles.
Interesting. But is there a risk there? Relying so heavily on one specialized partner like Fluidstack? Could that become a bottleneck if Fluidstack can't keep up?
That's definitely the trade-off, isn't it? Optimization versus potential supply chain dependency. But Anthropic seems laser-focused on enterprise needs right now.
You mean reliability?
Reliability, uptime, low latency. They've got, over 300,000 businesses using Claude. And the big accounts, the ones spending over $100K a year, apparently shot up sevenfold recently.
Wow, sevenfold.
So this $50 billion is basically their bet on keeping those enterprise clients happy and innovating quickly. For those kinds of core business integrations, things just have to work.
Right. That definitely paints Anthropic as the more disciplined, maybe enterprise-first player here.
Yeah.
Focused ROI.
But then there's OpenAI.
Then there's OpenAI.
Yes, then there's OpenAI.
The scale there, that $1.4 trillion, it's just hard to get your head around. What does that number even mean? It's not cash, right?
No, definitely not cash sitting in the bank. It represents huge commitments. They secured hardware supplies, long-term cloud deals with giants like Microsoft, Google, Oracle.
NVIDIA, Broadcom.
Its commitments across a global partner network. OpenAI is essentially trying to build a worldwide AI utility, and that requires absorbing absolutely staggering upfront costs to try and saturate the market.
Okay, so really different strategies. Anthropic, disciplined, aiming for profitability around 2028 based on their projections.
Right. Build to profit, optimizing for enterprise.
And OpenAI.
Yes.
Betting the farm on massive scale, creating dominance, but maybe looking at huge operating losses in that same time frame, like $74 billion by 2028.
So it's the projection, yeah. It's the stark contrast.
Yeah.
Calculated build versus just immense scale, hoping that scale itself wins. High stakes, high risk.
But couldn't that huge bet pay off? If OpenAI achieves that global dominance fast, couldn't Anthropic's careful approach still leave them behind, even if they hit their profit targets?
It could, if Anthropic wasn't also moving quickly on the ground. You mentioned the Amazon partnership earlier.
The one in Indiana.
Yeah, that $11 billion, 1,200-acre campus. It's exclusively for Anthropic, and reports say parts of it are already up and running.
So they're not just planning, they're actually deploying significant compute power now.
Exactly. They seem to have an execution edge today, while others are still talking more about future capacity. It's like they're running a steady marathon, not just a flashy, expensive sprint.
And the political angle here is complicated, too, how this all gets funded.
Oh, absolutely. Huge uncertainty there. OpenAI reportedly asked the Trump administration about expanding GPS Act tax credits to cover AI data centers.
And wasn't there talk about a government backstop for compute deals? That sounds controversial.
Very controversial. So you have OpenAI potentially looking for public funding or guarantees for its global utility play.
While Anthropic seems to be funding its US-based, enterprise-focused build-out privately. For an IT pro listening, that uncertainty around funding, regulation, that could hit future costs, right?
Yeah.
Affecting budgets for using these tools.
Precisely. The rules are still being written, but the concrete is being poured now. It's forcing the issue.
Okay, let's take a brief break for a special message from our producer, Kurt Robbins.
Hi, this is Kurt Robbins. First, thanks for listening. I truly appreciate your support. I want to let you know that I'm currently accepting new clients. My rates are affordable, and I have more than 25 years of experience working for enterprise companies like Microsoft, Northrop Grumman, Oracle, PNC Bank, FedEx, USAA, and Wells Fargo, among many others. If you want to improve your IT documentation and communications, hire me. I deliver fast, know how to use AI to improve efficiency and accuracy, and love going the extra mile to satisfy my clients. Thank you for subscribing and listening. Back to you, Daphne and Fred.
Welcome back to the Technical Writing Success Podcast.
Before the break, we were contrasting the strategies Anthropic's discipline versus OpenAI's sheer ambition.
Right.
But just focusing on the dollar signs kind of misses the point, which is how incredibly hard it is to actually build these things.
The logistics. It's not just about money.
Not at all. The sources we looked at really emphasize the bottlenecks, things like interconnection queues, literally waiting in line to connect to the power grid.
Equipment constraints, grid readiness.
Exactly. The experts say this race is won or lost based on power procurement and construction sequencing. Can you get the power? Can you build efficiently? That's more important than just having the biggest checkbook.
And that power need is just staggering. The US AI sector alone might need 50 gigawatts by 2028.
50 gigawatts, it's hard to even picture. To give listeners some scale, that's roughly enough electricity for, what, maybe 15 million typical American homes?
15 million homes.
Right.
Just for AI data centers.
We're talking utility-level planning here. The power grid itself is becoming the main throttle on how fast this can all grow. That has real implications for businesses, too unpredictable compute costs, maybe API instability if resources get tight.
Which brings us back to the why. Why build all this now? Why this massive push for 2026?
Because, and this is the really crucial takeaway, I think, they aren't building these data centers for the AI we have today.
Okay, this is the 2026 gap idea. Explain that. You're saying the leap in capability between now and 2026, it's bigger than the jump from having basically no AI to having ChatGPT. That sounds huge.
It sounds huge because it is huge, or at least that's the bet they're making. We're talking about a fundamental shift. Anthropic CEO mentioned building AI that can accelerate scientific discovery, solve really complex problems.
So the interface might still look simple. Like a chat box, maybe.
Right. Easy to use on the surface.
But underneath, it's doing things like reasoning through incredibly complex system failures, finding patterns that whole teams of human experts might miss.
That's the vision. An AI that doesn't just retrieve information, but genuinely reasons. And that capability needs an entirely new scale of infrastructure that just doesn't exist yet.
Which creates what, like an 18-month window for the rest of us?
An urgent one, yeah. Because the company's thinking, oh, we'll wait for AI to mature before we dive in. They're going to be starting from absolute zero when these 2026 models hit. You can't suddenly learn to run a marathon if you haven't even started walking.
So the advice for listeners, for tech writers, IT pros, it's start experimenting now. Seriously.
Yes, but more than just playing around. Start building real pattern recognition within your own specific context. Meaning, figure out what kinds of questions to ask these tools about your documentation, your systems. Learn where AI fails miserably right now and where it actually provides value in your specific workflows. How do you integrate it safely without breaking things? That deep familiarity, understanding the limits, the strengths, the quirks, that's going to separate the organizations ready to leverage this 2026 capability from those left scrambling.
So wrapping this up, we have these two massive bets. Anthropic's $50 billion, disciplined, enterprise-focused build, aiming for profit by 2028, versus OpenAI's $1.4 trillion global ambition, potentially huge losses, but aiming for total market saturation.
Both racing towards this fundamentally different, more capable AI expected around 2026.
It's a fascinating high-stakes game shaping the next decade.
Absolutely.
Now, here's a final thought for you, our listener, to chew on. If this 2026 AI can genuinely reason through complex technical problems better than a human expert, what does that mean for technical documentation?
Thank you for listening to the Technical Writing Success Podcast from Kurt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share. We'll see you next time.